You go first.
I go first.
You go first. What do you say to intro the episode?
The intro?
What do you say?
What do I say? I say, hello, welcome to Movie Phone.
If you happen to know the movie you would like to watch, press 1. If you know the name of the movie you don't want to see, press 2.
So that's what I say.
That's pretty good, babe.
Thank you.
That has nothing to do with the podcast, however.
Oh, but it's good. It does, because isn't it all about my humor, my wit?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what it revolves around, so.
We should do a sister podcast called Stephisms. Stephisms with your host, Stephanie.
Everything will go smoothly.
Yes. But folks are listening, in case you were wondering, which you're not, because you're listening and you can see it on whatever device you're using or whatever platform you're choosing to listen to. I just added some more platforms for the podcast today, too.
Oh, did you? What are they?
I don't remember.
Oh, all right. Good luck.
Super obscure, like weird places that you can find things like radio.com. And then I think the other one is called Deezer.
Deezer? Like
Yeah.
Dee's Nuts?
Yes, exactly. Anyways, folks, those are 2 places you can find the podcast, as well as everywhere else that podcasts are available, or go to energyislovepodcast.com. So, Stephanie.
Craig?
It's the big year-end review episode
Here we go.
that we're going to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to go as planned? Do you think we're going to review, or think we're going to go off on other tangents? Because we, if anything, we go as planned. We are plan followers. So.
Yes, it's going to go exactly as planned. We're going to stay on script the entire time.
All right, script. I forgot the script.
And the first part of the script is...
It's already off.
We have to give huge shout-outs to the sponsors for the podcast
All
this
right.
past year. So we had 2 big sponsors over the course of 2019. Mm-hmm. The first one was InBody Yoga Academy.
Thank you, InBody Yoga Academy.
Yes, thank
Shout
you very
out.
much. You can find information at inbodyyogaacademy.com. It is a great yoga studio located in Salt Lake City. They have classes all week long. They're constantly like doing yoga instructor trainings. They hold a bunch of events there as well. It's just a wonderful little space. Great. I shouldn't even say little. They have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different rooms, studios, I think, that they use, some of which are huge. It's just a neat place. So go to inbodyyogaacademy.com.
I'm going to.
Find out more and schedule your first class or pop in. I think they do. If it's your first class, I think it's free. And the next big sponsor that was hugely impactful for the podcast this year was the Refinery Barbershop. Go to refinerybarbershop.com. That is where you can find information about this amazing little barbershop located in Springville, Utah. But you can also book your appointments directly through the website, which is the easiest way to do it. They were a huge support of the podcast over the past year. We also had Stephen Roccazella on the podcast a handful of times. He's the owner and founder of the Refinery Barbershop. You can go back and find those episodes. I'm sure we'll talk about them.
Maybe.
In this recap episode of 2019.
All right.
But it's a great barbershop if you're looking to get your hair cut or your beard trimmed, or they do like the hot towels, straight razor shave, whole 9 yards. They're also expanding in 2020 and opening up in a new, bigger location, which is going to be pretty exciting. So
Congratulations.
huge shout out to both of those sponsors of the podcast, which made the podcast totally doable this year. If you want to sponsor the podcast in 2020, you are more than welcome to do so. Whether you have a business that you'd like us to promote or just you as an individual, if you want to throw us some cash, you can do it at the website, energyislovepodcast.com. And each episode, we will talk about you. We will highlight the amazing person that you are and speak your praises on every episode of the podcast, if you'd like to do that. What are we going to talk about, babe, for this episode?
You said it's going to be a year in recap, and I say we'll see about that.
Are you going to try to derail it?
I don't have to try.
Well, it's pretty simple, folks. We've had a wonderful, amazing 2019, and now you guys get to sit back and listen and enjoy. And hopefully we don't go down too many rabbit holes.
It's going to happen.
Here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
So, baby, I know that recently you and I have been trying to figure out the lyrics to that song that people sing at the end of the year. Remember?
Yes. And I just heard it and I'm like, that's what it is.
What
Do you
is it?
remember what they were?
No.
And never cross your mind. That's what it was.
Never cross your
Never
mind?
cross your mind. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. It's pretty depressing. May old acquaintances be forgotten
and never cross your mind. That's terrible.
I know. Why are we singing this with the smiles on our face? It's like Rockabye Baby from the Tree Top. Like, listen to the lyrics. You do not want your, like, it's pretty terrible.
Forget them sons of bitches.
Tickle, tickle.
Tickle, tickle.
That was also another
You're cute.
one. Should I look up the lyrics?
No.
No?
What's the name of the song?
I was going to look up the New Year's Eve song.
I bet it'll find it.
I know.
See what it says. Boom, boom,
The New Year
boom.
song.
I think it's called Old Ensign or something.
It looks like Old Lang.
There you go. Old Lang. That's close.
Why is that a thing? If I have to look at, okay, lyrics. Let's just do lyrics. I don't want to hear Rod Stewart sing it. Oh, skip to. You can just give me the lyrics. How hard is this?
I don't want to hear Rod Stewart sing anything.
I will not. Oh, lyric meaning. I don't want the lyric meaning. I just want the lyric. Why is this so hard?
That's what she said.
That's what she said. And she said, thank you. I got a
Anything?
creaky chair. Well, there's full lyrics. Hold on. Only I could look up that song and not find it.
You're doing great. So the next 45 minutes,
Oh,
I'm going to fill up with filler.
Oh, yeah. Hold on one second.
And eventually we'll come
Old
to the
Lang.
realization of, oh yeah, it's not really a song.
Oh, you know what though?
Hmm.
It's AULD. Should old acquaintances be forgot and never brought to mind? So maybe it means something like, maybe it's not old. Like,
AULD?
yeah, maybe it's not like OLD.
What does AULD mean?
I don't know. You Googled that one.
I will. I'm going to definitely save us all
and then it's
10 minutes here.
We'll tack a cup, oh kindness yet. What is happening? These lyrics do not make sense.
Old, or let's see how Google pronounces it.
Old.
Thanks, Google.
Delete.
That was obvious.
Delete.
Hold on. Maybe I missed something.
Old.
Old. Okay. Yeah. That's the Scottish pronunciation of the word old.
What does it mean?
It means old.
So it is the same.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And surely you'll be your... Okay, no, I'm done. Why do we sing the song?
I don't know. But
Why
I
is this
found
that
it.
happen?
Robert Burns' Old Lang Syne lyrics. Should
I've
old
got a
acquaintance be
Dougie
forgot
McLean.
and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and Old Lang Syne?
An Old Lang Syne. Okay.
Well,
So we're saying don't forget about Lang?
I don't think we've solved this mystery.
I kind of felt like,
Anyways, folks listening, we had a
no.
very fascinating conversation about this before the podcast.
I can't decide if I just became less intelligent or I was really dumb to start with. I'm not sure what just happened, but my brain just said kaboom.
Why were you dumb? Because of that whole debacle? I said debacle.
It's
Debacle's a word. It's what you do when you spackle.
you spackle with
You
the
take the
tobacco.
spackle back
Oh
off.
my God. See, okay, so we actually lost IQ points. That's what happened. All right, moving on. Let's give me some ginkgo biloba.
Ginkgo biloba. It's 2019.
Okay.
It is the very end of the year that we
Starting off
survived.
strong.
I've been thinking about what we call this episode.
What do we call
And
it?
like the year that shall not be named, but I think we probably called...
We've said that a few times.
I think we've probably said that once or twice. So when we started...
I got it.
What is it?
I don't know if we can, it's trademarked, I'm pretty sure, from The Hangover, but we can look at it and say, yeah, but did you die?
But did you die?
Actually, some people did, so that's not cool.
Yeah. Well, we didn't. We survived.
We didn't. And if you're listening to it, you did as well. So cheers to us.
Unless you're listening
And love to
somewhere else.
those. Oh, it is a podcast for the universe.
Yes.
All right.
So we started the year on episode 123 of the podcast. And
Yes.
we ended the year with this episode, which is 173, which means we did 50 mother hugging episodes of the podcast this year.
You can't tell, but I'm doing some chest bumps right now. I'm pretty happy about that.
We succeeded.
We did succeed.
Our goal this year was to do one episode every single week.
I know what happened now with 2019.
Okay.
Our one goal was to do an episode every single week, and we killed it, but we forgot to hold the rest of the world together. Like we dropped the ball there, like the New Year's ball coming down.
We got a little focus on the podcast and let the rest of our life run off into the ditch.
Not our life, the world. Everything went to shit. The Amazon burned, like everything. Like we need to up our game.
Well, we do have next year.
Okay.
Shortly around the corner.
Hindsight. So we've got the world.
But that's 50 episodes this year, babe. I think that's
amazing.
pretty amazing for a little podcast that we do in our home, sitting across from our bed from one another.
I like it.
And listenership grew this year.
Yes.
So if you started listening recently, thank you. Welcome. We are happy that you are here. Hopefully you tune in every week and know that we'll probably set the same standards for ourselves next year.
Are we doing it again?
Probably.
Oh, yeah?
Because we did it. We can do it. So now we know we can do it.
I like this routine. I have fun. I like recording with you.
Yeah. It's
I
nice.
like that we get to talk.
I do too.
I feel like some neat shit happens.
Well, let's go back.
Let's go back?
Yeah, we're going to go back and look at the episodes.
Whoa. I just had a Wayne's World moment. Hold on.
Wow.
Yeah, let's do it like before we go back. Let's
Episode 123 on January 6th was titled Firewalking with Steph and Craig.
Firewalking.
Yeah. I'm going to read the
right.
description to you. We're not going to do
Okay.
this with every episode, by the way,
Okay,
folks.
this is fun though. Okay.
On the first episode of 2019, Steph and I sit down and discuss, surprise, our lives during 2018. We talk about,
look at this.
I know.
Okay.
We're very clever. We talk about some of the adventures we had, some of the struggles, and Steph talks about her experience walking on fire.
It's beautiful.
We also revealed a new question that every guest will be asked this year.
Oh, that's right.
I don't remember that
You
question.
don't? What form of
I don't think so.
mental?
I think that mental illness question was from the year before.
Oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
I walked on fire a few times. What more do you want from me? I walked on fire, then I did ice baths. So.
Yeah. Do you remember that episode?
I do now, and I think I talked excessively.
You think you
about
talk
it.
too much
I
on
did.
every episode.
I do.
It's weird because you're the co-host of the podcast, so I don't imagine I don't know why you would talk.
Co means share, not the hostile takeover host of the podcast.
Terrorist host. Firewalking. I remember how big of a deal that was for you. That's a very cool thing.
Yes.
Very, very grateful that you had that opportunity. Steph has hot feet even before then.
Bam.
Episode.
Don't even need to put him on a chest. Little sneaky inside out there.
Yeah, that is definitely an inside joke, folks.
To those of you who get it, cheers.
Episode 124, Brent Jacks, Life of a Cop. I remember this episode.
Tell me.
This was with Brent Jacks, former police officer in the Salt Lake City Valley. It was really fun. It was a really good episode. We recorded it at the FOP building in Salt Lake. Brent is...
You did? I didn't know you recorded it there.
Yeah, he's now
That's pretty
retired.
cool.
So we recorded it at the FOP office. He's heavily involved in the FOP. For those of you that don't know what that is.
Should I say it?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
What
please.
if I'm wrong?
What if I'm wrong?
Oh, God. Fraternal Order of Police.
Yeah, I believe that's it.
I'm hopeful.
But that was a good episode. He shared a lot of insight about some of his experience being a police officer, which was kind of cool. I always like talking to cops and former cops, even though it hardly ever happens. Episode 125, Walls, What Are They Good For?
Ha! Googa.
For some reason, we broke down the Lord of the Ring trilogy.
Oh, my God. Well, it's because I had never seen it, and that was a big deal to you. And then we watched it, and then I was hooked.
Yeah. The next episode was with Shelley.
Oh, my goodness. Shelley. Look what you have done, you beautiful woman.
What did she do?
She freaking got me in the eyes.
Yeah. She brought ice into our
She
life.
did.
That makes her sound like...
She's an ice queen.
what's Frozen?
It's loving, though. Elsa.
Yeah.
She let it go. She helped me let it go. Oh, my God. That's kind of beautiful. Thank you, Shelley.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. Shelley's a neat chick. And,
Ooh,
here we go.
I have not. In the thick of it. Is that the one I think it is?
Yes.
No, I still have not.
So, folks,
I actually stopped.
we're going to have fun during this episode going back and recapping some of these episodes. I don't think we're going to end up doing all 50 of them.
We're not, but there's some fun ones. We're having a nostalgia moment.
This one,
Nostalgic.
nostalgia. You know what that reminded me of?
Watchmen.
Yes.
I think that's why that vocabulary is now a common thing, because I thought of that movie a lot.
That series.
Yes. Series. I didn't watch the movie. Sorry.
It's okay. Watchmen, the new series on HBO.
I get the words.
If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It was very, very, very good.
It's weird.
Anyways, episode 127, in the thick of it. This was the one where we literally, I decided I say that
Literally.
We came home. We were out running errands, and in the process of running those errands, we got into it. And
not sexy stuff either. Like, it was not a hit it like a champ moment.
No, it was, we're going to fight about whatever. I don't even remember what it was about.
You started it.
I'm sure I did.
I remember that. I remember it was your fault. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Said every woman ever.
I know. Oh.
But that's an episode where we record in the middle of a fight, and it's not very, like, it's just real.
I didn't listen.
You haven't listened to it?
No, hell no. I actually stopped at some point listening because it was always, and I felt like that supportive thing, but then I became a constant, and
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
You don't need to go back and listen to the episodes.
But I was at that point. I was still listening. And that one, I'm like, I am not listening to that. You can see all like my green check marks. And then that one is still a blue circle.
Yeah.
And then green check marks.
That was a good, real raw episode for us. I think probably helped with some future episodes. 128, you and Janelle, Tequila Colada Time.
128 was one of my, I love you, babe. You're my favorite.
Yeah.
However, I adored that one.
That was really fun.
So much fun. That actually kicked off like, as Janelle and I had been friends for a while, and we'd been close, and we had some pretty cool experiences. But that day has so much significance for me because not only did I get to hang out with her for like 10 hours, I'm not even kidding. When you are like, we used to hang out 12-hour shifts all the time, but you know, there's only so much. We got close in that time, but that day was a shift in our relationship, and we opened up to each other about things that were very, that we hadn't opened up to each other about. And like, we became very close that day. And so not only did we have an amazing time, like the podcast was at the end of our day. That was like the end of like our 10-hour alcohol involved, just fun day. It's like, when I say I'll do a friends thing, it was Steph and Janelle's day of fun.
Yeah. It was a big love fest.
It was. I was going to say that, but then I kept trying to not say that because then it sounds different, but it was totally a big love fest.
Yeah.
And so at the end, and we're like, well, gosh, what are we going to talk about now? We've just like opened up our hearts to each other. So now, and then we had this amazing fun episode, which was super fun. So that day's always kind of special to me because her and I had this, we bonded deeply.
It is a fun episode. It is probably the drunkest episode of the podcast to date.
I think that's the same.
Yeah. And but it's very, very fun. I had a really good time going back and listening to that episode and editing it all together.
I remember listening to you edit it because out of nowhere I would just hear you bust up laughing, and you're like, "Oh my god!" It's like, "Oh, what did we say?"
It's got some priceless moments.
It does. It does.
So at the end of every episode, as I go back and edit and piece the episode together and do everything in order to get them released, as I'm listening to it, and the majority of the time it's our conversation that we just had a few days ago. And so I kind of listen and don't listen as I'm busy doing other things, but I'm listening for little things that I need to correct, or, you know, every now and then we have to pause because Angel's got to go outside and pee or whatever the case may be. But I also listen for sound bites, little things that jump out that I can use at the end of the episode. If you guys ever listen all the way to the end, which I hope you do, you'll hear a handful of little snippets of audio from throughout the episode. And I like doing that. I think it's fun.
Them. I love those.
And I should do, I thought, I'm going all over the place. Here's our first rabbit hole.
Well, like I said, according to plan.
It's a little one though. Originally, I thought about doing that in the beginning, having that little soundbitey snippet stuff in the beginning of the episode. So then they'd have like teasers.
Okay.
And I probably should have done that because that makes more sense.
Okay.
It's a way to like entice people into the episode. But for whatever reason, I always just ended up doing it at the end of the episode.
Okay. I kind of like the end, but all right.
So maybe we'll try it a handful of times. I think I have tried it, and for whatever reason, it doesn't quite work.
Yeah. Okay.
So who knows? Anyways, the reason I bring up this little nugget of info is that episode with Janelle I loved. I had so many. Like that episode just did nothing but give sound bites that were amazing. Episode 130, Rearranging Dirty Dishes. Shout out out to Carlos Casas in
I was so mad at you.
Rehoboth, Delaware. That was a super fun episode. I always like when I get to interview people that I like, right? Mm-hmm. That was the whole thing back in the day with the podcast, and I like when we still get to do that. And Carlos was somebody that I met through DreamPod and setting up some tanks for him, and I was able to go back and hang out with him for a little while, and that was a really fun episode.
Yes.
Mountains of Coke. Do you remember that one?
I do. Oh my gosh. It was Blaine.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes. That
Episode 132, Mountains of Coke with Blaine Nelson. Shout out to him as well.
We didn't really do Coke.
No, there was no
Spoiler
cocaine.
alert.
No cocaine or Coca-Cola that day. But Blaine has a podcast called the Horticult Podcast. Mm-hmm. And he's a good friend of mine that I grew up with back in the day. And he came out to the house and we had a good episode. It was fun.
Yes.
I was also on the Horticult podcast. I don't remember what episode that was, but
I don't either.
You can go
I
find that.
remember watching it.
That was a fun day. Look at the snapshot. That was the first episode with Steven this year.
I remember that one. That kicked off
Oh, yeah. That's a very important episode.
That was an important episode for us. But we couldn't call it what.
So that episode 133, Look at the Snapshot, was with our friend Steven Roccazella. Mm-hmm. And
it's the first time I met him.
Was that the first time you met him? So good episode. Go back and listen to it. But what that episode did was triggered our experiment for the month of March, which we document in episode 136, the experiment.
You could just go listen to that.
You could just go listen to episode 136.
Listen to both.
I'll read you the description.
Okay.
For the entire month of March, we abstained from sex.
Do you hear that?
Why, you ask?
Because we're crazy.
Great question. We still haven't figured it out. And we still haven't today either.
Oh, I think we've got a lot of good stuff. I'm just going to teaser that it's not going to come through, but something that we are experiencing today, that was kind of a jumping off point.
You think so?
Do you remember some of the things?
Oh, yeah.
It boom.
Yeah.
And then where we are today, I remember having this conversation with you a while ago and being like, this opened up and where was that? And then we had that and we're here. And no, you get it. I'm not, this may be something that we talk about
in the future.
However, I'm not getting into any more
detail.
details.
2020.
Maybe.
Do you ever remember that?
Maybe 2022.
Thing on Conan?
Huh? I was not a Conan watcher.
In the year 2000.
No.
Oh, anyways.
No, sorry, I can't relate there.
That's okay.
I'm sure a lot of people can. Yay for you.
Yeah.
I love it. No, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
So we didn't have sex for the entire month of March in 2019.
We didn't have penetration. Yes. We had a lot of energetic sex. It was amazing.
You made me blush with that.
Oh.
So that's a good episode. That was a good month, actually.
It was
challenging.
Month.
I went blind.
You didn't go blind.
What else? I started all sorts of weird physical things started happening to my body.
I was not as into it at the beginning as you were.
No, you hated it.
I was a slow burn. I was mad at you. I was mad. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Opened up so many things in my world. So I'm grateful.
She said.
That's what she did.
Episode 137, Skinny Soakin'. That was our anniversary episode.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yep. Out of Baker Hot Springs. Shout out to Baker Hot Springs. Don't go there. Don't Google it. We don't want anybody to find that place because we love it.
We'll probably be naked there if you do. So good luck. It may be a good day. It may not. Who knows?
Episode 138, we discussed the OA.
Okay. Yeah.
OA is a wonderful original series on Netflix, if anybody is interested.
138 was the OA?
I think we probably talked about the A multiple times. But.
I think so. Okay.
Ooh, 139.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Yeah, unpacking what it means to be a good man. So that was a really wonderful episode that was recorded in Massachusetts. I recorded that on location after an Everyman event. And had a handful of guys that were there at that training join in on the episode. And it's really good. It's honestly a really good episode. I can think back fondly to that episode, and we had a lot of wonderful stuff. But shout out to Chris Herrickfield, John Sturpey, Chris Fletcher, Matt Nadeau, and that was it. Those were the guys that were on that show, or on that one particular episode. But go listen to that one. Shout out to Everyman, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyman everyman.com, EBRYMAN, quick promo.
I still hear .co. I know it's .com now, but
too.
yeah.
Yeah. But they played a big role in my 2019 and in one way, shape, or form, right?
Yes.
And they have also played a big role in the last several years of my life. They have heavily influenced the way Stephanie and I connect and communicate, although you and I have done the work. So if you...
Worker bees.
We are worker bees. But go to everyman.com, check out all of their stuff, start a men's group wherever you're at, come to our men's group in Salt Lake City. And also they have a bunch of events coming up next year. And the first one is in February in Joshua Tree. I will be there if you want to come hang out. I know they still have some tickets available. And
I'll be at Solberg's at our local market. Do you want to come and hang out?
End of Everyman promo.
I love it.
Where else? Where was I?
You were unpacking what it means to be a man.
Yeah. Good episode.
139. Mm-hmm.
The 3 Fs.
I don't remember. We had the fight, flight, and freeze, right?
Yeah, that's like.
But what did we say it was?
Fuck this, fuck that, fuck you.
Oh, that's right. I knew it was funny, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
How did you remember that so well?
Because I still have them running through my body a lot of the time.
Okay, that's right.
It's not hard to remember.
All right.
That's a good episode.
That is a good episode.
All of these are wonderful episodes. Let's pick the one that's not good.
Okay.
I'm teasing.
I was trying to find it.
To the Trees. Maybe that one. No, that one was pretty good too. It's funny because the majority of the time we record these episodes, right? And then I'll go back and edit them and release them. Mm-hmm. And then it's like it gets purged from the memory bank.
Oh, that's what happens to me.
Yeah.
I feel like such an asshole. I'm
There's
like,
so
I don't
many
remember.
Times where I'm like,
I don't even edit it.
What did we talk about on that episode? And so this is kind of fun because it's sparking all of these little experiences and memories.
Wow.
147 and 148 were recorded.
Oh my gosh.
So 147 is Colorado Mountain High, which we recorded on location in Telluride.
I may cry a little bit on it talking about my love of brandy.
Yeah, those 2 episodes are fun.
Oh my goodness. I'm happy. I have a big old cheeser right now just thinking about that experience in those episodes. Oh, okay. I love it.
Good episodes.
Yes.
Great memories for us.
Yes. Including sleeping with black widows. That's how dedicated we were.
Not Black Widow, which we wouldn't be opposed to.
Oh, well.
Anyways, Gumby stretching. I don't remember anything about this episode.
We were talking about how the stretches and...
Oh, yeah, we used to do monthly stretches.
Yes, and like you got me Gumby stretching all over or something, and you're like, haha.
Yeah.
Because I'm funny.
You are funny.
I'm punny.
You're very, very funny. Oh, we had Randy on episode 151, Connection, Who's Got Connection?
Okay.
So I also have fun with the titles.
Yes, you're good at them.
Do you know what that is a play on? Connection, Who's Got Connection?
Was it like conjunction, junction or something?
No.
What?
That's a thing, though.
What is it?
Conjunction, function.
Yeah.
What's your function? Oh, no, wait. Conjunction, junction. What's your function?
Something like that.
That's Schoolhouse Rock.
PBS?
That's going way back.
Like Oregon Trail times.
Yes. No.
No?
Connection, Who's Got Connection is button, Who's Got the Button? Did you ever play that game as a kid?
Clearly.
So you sit in a circle.
Uh-huh.
And then the one person gets into the middle of the circle. Uh-huh. And everybody puts their hands together, kind of like they're praying in prayer form. And then...
Seminary, got it.
The person in the middle has a button in their hands, and they push together their hands, and the button stays in there.
Okay.
And then they come over and they swipe their hands in between everybody else's hands. Children, Stephanie. This is...
Okay,
you should
got
see
it.
her face. As soon as we start talking about swiping things, she's like, what? Tell me more of this game.
I did not play this game.
I've got your button. So you swipe your hands in between their hands, and then at some point, that person drops the button inside of somebody else's hands.
Okay.
And then everybody has to try to guess where the button is.
Where the button is.
Button, who's got the button?
Okay.
And then if you guess,
what happens?
Somehow you exchange positions, and the person goes into the middle, and then they become the swiper. Swiper, no swiping.
Swiper, no swiping. Okay. Wow.
Rabbit hole number 2.
That was definitely...
So,
we're gonna do a whole
Randy
podcast
Palmer,
on that.
episode 151.
Did he have the button?
He did not. It's a great episode. I love Randy. You can go find Randy's info at familycounselrecovery.com.
No. Yes. That was okay. So sometime I was reading an episode and I remembered what it was about. And I was like, oh, that triggered something in me. So as that came up, it was right at the worst possible time. It was not related to Randy or where you go find him. He's wonderful. I was reading something else.
Yeah. Good timing there, babe.
I know. I'm full of it.
152 was Look at Me, I'm Adulting. And that was with my good buddy, Michael Wade. That's a really good episode. We recorded that one in the backyard. I love Michael. He was, do you remember his middle name?
Ecuador? Was it Ecuador?
His middle name's not Ecuador.
What
That's
was
where
it?
he's originally
I
from.
know. That's why I thought they threw it in his name so that it would be.
Damn it. I can't remember it now either.
I think it might be Ecuador. So he always had ties to his. Shit, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Either way, if you listen to that episode, you'll find out the answer to that
And you can
question
let us
and
know.
more. And then, shoot us a message. I Love Yous? What's that episode?
That's the one that I went, ugh.
Oh.
Because it was related to the one that you were just talking about, the one with Mike, and how I realized coffee. Oh, there you go.
How you realized?
How I realized that there's times that I throw out I love yous and I don't mean them, and I don't like it, and I don't like how it feels. And I had given him an I love you in that episode. He said something that I liked, and instead of saying I like that, I like what you're saying, I relate, I went like, oh, I love you, but it was meaning, that I liked what he said. I'm like, oh, why does that feel bad? Why does that feel bad? I'm like, oh, because it's not true. Not that, for any reason I wanted the coffee. Any reason, like nothing to do with him. It's just I don't, and that's not a big deal. It's not saying that he's not worth it. I just met the guy. Come on, I move a little slower than that. But that taught me to be careful with my I love yous. Like my I love yous means something. They're valuable, and I may love what you just said. I think that's what I said. I can say I love that you said that, which was accurate. I love you was not. So I don't ever want my I love yous to be not genuine. So that's what I read. My love yous. I'm like, oh yeah. Ugh.
We, one of the most incredible things about doing this podcast is just all the different things that we get from it, right?
Right.
Not only do you and I get the time together, we get the opportunity to connect. I think it helps deepening our relationship.
Definitely does.
Our level of communication, all sorts of different stuff. Just the smallest little things that we do as well, of like putting ourselves out there. And I mean, because the fact is, and we comment about this all the time, where we're recording into a device right now. Right. This isn't live. We're not streaming this out into the universe. I have to go back and actually put it there. I have to go back and push send to the universe, and then it goes out. We could choose to not do that.
We could.
We could choose to not put this stuff out. And oftentimes we get stuck in this communication space of the podcast together because we know that it is going out.
Yeah.
Because we know that at the end of the day, Craig will actually push send.
And he does not edit things that I'm like, God damn it, why did you air that? So, yeah.
And so I think that that's another hidden jewel, another wonderful thing that the podcast does for us, because we do know that people are listening, and we do know that it is going to go out, and it's hard to stretch outside of those comfort zones.
Right.
And yeah, but then all the people that we've had on this year have been amazing, and we get little nuggets of insight and truth and all sorts of wonderful things from them as well.
I just had another one with you saying that. Like, I always feel bad because I just sit here and cry and laugh and make, funny comments because I'm so funny. Try not to fall off the chair, what sometimes will happen, but whatever. I feel bad that I don't help with and it's not that I don't help. You're not like, hey, Steph, I would really like it if you would help me edit and take part in this. You're like, baby, I love you. Don't.
It's a one-person job.
Do not touch. Do not help. Don't even talk to me when I'm doing it, except take my headphones off and look at you. And then I've lost my train of thought. And but I've always felt bad that I don't help with that that's not in my scope of abilities. And what you just said made it clear. There's also a reason I don't go back and reread texts a lot if I'm trying to communicate my feelings. Because if I listened and I did the editing, I would cut so much shit out. So much would not be out there.
Yeah.
Because I can get in the space, but then I absolutely have to and you can hit send. You have the bravery with that.
We'll call it bravery.
We'll call it bravery. Yeah, we'll call it. I couldn't. There would be there's a lot of things that I have going through my head right now that would not have happened.
We'd have 5 episodes this year, not 50.
Maybe that's it. That's quite optimistic. That is giving me a lot of benefit right there. Yeah. So I just have to like jump in and do things, or else if I have the chance to second guess it, I will not.
That's what she said.
That's what she...
Just jump in and do things.
Okay.
Episode 156. This is serious. Seriously. We talk about the year leading up to this point and how difficult it has been for us.
Ooh.
I think
we were in some shit.
Yeah.
That was a hard.
Yeah, that was September 1st. So
that was our first month of hell. That was after our first month of hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's second month.
Yeah.
Okay. See, it was just hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just say a few more times about.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. If you want to know more about that, go listen to that episode.
I'm an excellent driver. That's all I can hear.
Oh, episode 157, just abandonment. No big deal. Yeah, that's easy.
All right. No, we got this.
Oh, my goodness.
You remember?
We did so many wonderful things this year.
Did.
We had Stephen back on the show, episode 158. It's hard to be happy.
Okay.
That was fresh off of his Wim Hof certification.
That's right. That's when. Okay. Yeah, I remember when that
I think we did some ice then too. Yeah. We did a lot of ice baths this year.
Yes.
Maybe in the middle of the summertime, we'll do an ice bath, or we'll do a podcast in an ice bath.
In an ice bath.
So then that way.
So who are you going to co-host it with? Unless it's like.
You mean the ice bath with me?
I can do a few minutes.
We'll do a couple's dip. Survival of the Sexes, episode 159.
I don't remember what that one was.
Toxic personalities of both men and women. Mm-hmm. I don't remember that very well. I'm sure it was good. Bubble expansion. Oh, we talked about tits out or tits up. Thank you, Utah, for legalizing that.
But not really.
Just kind of like you half-ass legalized weed in the state.
But not really.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What else?
Of that one?
No. Okay. Let's see. Any more of these are jumping out to you, babe? Social Stripper Media. I like that name. I have no
I'm
idea
doing
what
better. That was about social media and all the ugh.
Yeah. Also, we
what happens when social media grows up.
We recounted our story of the strip club in Vegas.
Oh, did we do that on? That's why we got the stripper in there. That was fun.
That's why we got the stripper in there. That's how we convinced her to get in the van and come home with us.
Ew, not from that place.
Episode 163, Knowledge, Experience, and Integration with Andrew Kippen. That was a fun episode. That was recorded at another Everyman event in the fall.
Was it Pennsylvania?
No, that one was the one in California.
Oh.
Andrew's a member of Everyman. He does a lot of their behind-the-scenes marketing and like tech stuff, website development, as well as he's led a handful of their events and stuff. He's a really good guy. I like Andrew a lot, and that's a fun episode. He's got like I feel like him and I both acknowledge and see the existence. He's just drinking coffee straight from the bottle now, babe?
I think I need some. That's what happened. Yeah. I never poured. I think I waited. So I decided to screw it. And I was just like drinking it like water.
And
you're probably ready for more now.
I'm good.
Okay.
Andrew and I both like acknowledge and see and experience and work with energy, I think is a way to kind of sum it up. But we do it in a different way, which is always fine, right?
Yes. It's beautiful. I like the different ways because then that allows for expansion.
Do you just want to briefly comment on episode 164?
What's that? Probably 164 is the really, really hard stuff. And I'm just going to say it was really, really hard. And not in the, they're so cute. It was hard. No, fuck that.
No.
It sucked.
And there's no sexual innuendo.
There is zero.
Yeah. That's a tough episode.
Yeah.
You should go and listen to it, people.
Well. Anyways,
165, just say yes.
What's that about?
That's the email from Asher School.
Oh, fuck.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That kind of was a hot topic in the house for a while.
I still, I was, okay.
We're getting so close to the end. Generation Safe Space, episode 167.
Oh my gosh. I loved, okay, you say your thing and then I'll say my thing.
I wasn't saying anything.
No, you're not going to say anything about it? No?
What's your thing?
That it was bullshit and that I loved your mom's comments on talking about the situation because I'm like, yeah, right? Is that hard?
I'm lost. Help me.
The Generation Safe Space, we talked about the fact that why the younger generation are so big on personal point of privilege. This is my safe space because all they've known is war. And afterwards I started thinking, I'm like, that's kind of like always been a thing. It's not just for them. Like we've always had, like, this was not their first Middle East route. Like we had that as a kid. And then a little bit before that, like your mom touched on Vietnam and then having like the bomb shelters.
Oh, yeah.
Like they had the drills where they would hear it go off. They're being attacked and then would
literally have to go into.
So there's some needing some safe space. Like it's always been there, but these ones are like, oh my God, so I may get, I'm not in a great space to be compassionate
for the younger generation.
The whimsical.
What about the school shooting thing? That's definitely.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah, that's definitely their generation thing.
That is their generation thing. And that is
sucks.
Don't have that's not okay. The fact that they have shooter drills. Yeah. Just to prep. That's and then, terrible. By the way, they're also prepping the shooters.
I know. So there's no answer there that works.
It just, I hate everything about that. So that's where everything does come off. So when we have it as the wars and where we're at, no. But what you have to deal with there, and then the parents that have to say, I hope you come home today.
Our kids are coming home. It'll be all right.
I hate it. Yeah. I hate that. That's not okay. That needs there. Anyways,
that's pretty impactful, right? I mean, if you think about war as being some sort of traumatic experience that we as society and as a group have to move through and experience together, it's very much the case. It's obviously more impactful for others if you're there involved, on the ground in the war, if you have loved ones that are there, all those kind of different things. And there's no, we're not rating it. You don't get to be impacted by it because
that's not what I was saying.
Not at all. But there's varying degrees of it.
That was absolutely not what I was saying.
Shooting thing is
that is new.
It's new and it's here and it's impactful and
horrific.
I didn't go to school worrying about somebody coming in and shooting up the school.
And I grew up on a military base.
Yeah. I grew up in a small town.
Guns were
where there were guns in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So that who knows what impact that has taken on the children of today. That's horrific.
There's no that all my.
So they get their safe spaces, right? No, fuck their safe spaces.
No, but I'm just not going to even touch that.
Okay, that's what she said.
No, she didn't. I'm going to throw right now. No.
Are we in the biggest rabbit hole of this episode?
You just trigger. Yeah, hold on. I need a minute to breathe through this one because I can't speak my emotions right now. I will totally rabbit hole. I'm feeling so many things that nothing I can say now. I don't have time to say it and is going to express what I'm actually feeling. And then also the, what you just said, I just need a fucking minute.
Should we push pause?
No, don't push pause. Just shut up for a minute.
Done.
Okay. And I thought this one was going to be one where I
love you.
I don't.
We don't record half-ass episodes.
Don't.
I can say I love you.
Right now.
Okay.
I don't want to feel the feels.
Is it safe to move on?
Motherfucker. Safe to move on. This is, say something about my period next now, why don't you?
One thing we actually haven't described on the podcast before.
What's that?
The in and out that goes on in our heads. So is that the name of the movie, In and Out or Inside?
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Okay, not burger.
No.
Okay.
So quick caveat / rabbit hole. If anybody has ever seen the Disney Pixar, which I'm sure many of us have, Inside Out, is that right, babe? I know I'm getting it wrong.
It's Inside Out.
Inside Out is the name of the movie. The whole concept and idea is that we've got a bunch of people upstairs inside of our brains, kind of running and managing the ship and reacting to things and. It's emotions, right? There's anger, there's joy, there's sadness, these emotions, but they're literal physical characters. I don't need to describe the movie, just go fucking watch it. But Stephanie and I take that into our everyday life and we have, you're rubbing against your mic, dear.
With what?
Your hair.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Your long, beautiful hair.
It's not long anymore and that's still a sensitive subject.
Okay. So we joke
I'm pretty sure my period's not coming, but I don't know what's happening here.
on the
Like,
regular
it might be.
about the characters that each of us have inside of our head and how oftentimes they take over and run the ship.
Case in point.
Yes. And we each have
Something's happening.
in Inside Out, there isn't this character, but we've created this character for ourselves inside of our brains. And mine is called Jimmy, and Stephanie's is called Jenny.
Oh, I have one?
Yeah. Don't you remember we talked? Oh.
You just walked right into that one. Yes, I do.
They are the type of people that say whatever's on their mind. They like to push buttons just because it's a button there to push. Oftentimes they like cause disasters and then just sit there and laugh. They're not the brightest characters. They're definitely not like the big bright bulbs running the ship up there. They're kind of what?
I'm just keep going.
Anyways, I just quick rabbit hole side note on our Inside Out characters in our head.
I have things happening in my belly.
Yeah.
I got super like this could be a whole episode on what just occurred and how badly I want to speak to things, but how badly I do not.
Well, why don't you speak to him?
Because I can't, because it'll take me a while to, when I have these feelings come up, that my first, reaction is pushback, anger, like, create distance. It's like when you get away from something that hurts. So my first thing is like, create space, save space. Fuck. Shut up.
It. I didn't say it. You said it. My Jimmy shut up and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
That's a good example of where Jimmy would be like, hurry up and jump up to the mic and say something to comment on how she just
Anyways, so I don't like that. So emotions that came up and but that was enough for me to now I'm a little numb and I'm ready to move on.
Okay. We can move on.
We can.
That was a somewhat deep rabbit hole number 3
That
or
was
4.
not. That'll come up later. I'll wait for dinner. It'll be fine.
Oh, good luck, folks. Stay tuned for next year on the podcast. Oh my God, I was being silly. That was funny.
Oh, that made me sad.
169, master of their domain. That was funny. What was that? That was
I don't
recent.
know. Oh, masturbation.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's why that was funny.
That was funny. The funny
'Cause
part.
Masturbation is funny.
Look, and I'm wearing the same pants from that episode.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm wearing my masturbation pants.
That's what she puts on when it's go time. Hold on. I got to go get my pants on.
Oh, my God.
Ooh, 170. Very recent. Go back and listen to it. It's not your movie.
Yeah.
That episode is still impacting us today.
Yes, it is.
Several weeks later. Shocking. But it's very much a good episode and impactful. And then, the rest of the year, handful of episodes, fixing toilets.
We laughed.
Has it not been just an incredible year of podcasting?
It has been. I like that the last two, not this one. I don't think I got emotional.
Oh, you got
them.
emotional on the Christmas episode.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so one I didn't get emotional on.
I don't think you did on the fix the toilet one.
That's
I
the
was
one I'm
that
talking
was,
about.
Oh, I was ready to blow shit up.
I know.
Yeah.
Ooh, look
No,
at all
it's been a
these
wonderful year for the
emotions.
podcast.
It has.
It has not been a wonderful year for our everyday life.
It has not.
With like the reality
been-
is, this has been an absolutely amazing year for us.
We've got a lot of practice opportunities.
You and I, Stephanie, beautiful woman of mine, have done nothing but grow closer and closer and closer together this entire year.
That is very true.
Through thick and thicker and the thickest and meltdown and destroy and destruction and chaos and turmoil.
You and I continue to come
You
together.
and I just got closer and closer and closer and closer.
Yes.
So I'm incredibly grateful for that.
Me too.
This could have been the year that broke us
It could have.
had we not done so much work leading up to this point, and had we not been so willing to continually move towards each other as opposed to away from each other.
How did we, that is so profound. This absolutely could have been the year that broke us. But,
It didn't.
not even close. That's the part that's kind of confusing. If you really think about it,
It wasn't touch or go at any point.
it wasn't. We have continued to bond and grow so deeply, and not in the what doesn't kill you make you stronger kind of thing where we're, like how you go through retrograde, which is also an episode. Our hair isn't, I did chop off my hair, so maybe that was part of it. Just kidding. I feel like we really we fell apart at things falling into each other's arms and just built and created. And so many wonderful things happened this year. Like this year kind of sucked, but it was kind of, I'm okay with not that kind of beauty grown thing. Like it was kind of beautiful.
It was.
How is that?
It's the yin and yang. Fucking snobbity uppity people that think they have to say yin and yang. It's the yin and yang of things.
It's the yin and yang. I'm apparently a
Hold on, get your nose down a little bit, Miss Uppity Up. Excuse me, it's properly pronounced. Oh, please. And
now what are you gonna do? Go ahead, keep your train of thought. Keep your train of thought. Make sure no kids come out here. Keep your train of thought. Yeah, that's right. He's all smiley now. Go ahead. What's it called?
Oh goodness, it's called whatever you want to call it. Folks listening, I just had the wonderful preview of what's underneath her shirt, and it is wonderful. And now I don't know what I'm talking about. What are we talking about? Boobs? Sorry, it's a bit nipply out.
I can't even say the line, can you, Russ?
Tits. Huh? Who? Hello?
Hello.
Nipples? Boobs? Sorry. Breastises. Excuse me, I need a chicken breast. Sell on breast aisle 4.
I'm getting a little embarrassed now.
I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, yin and yang. Yeah, that's why our year...
Nipple out.
Okay.
I'll take it out.
That's why our year has been both difficult and rewarding.
Yeah.
Because, we went deep into turmoil and stuff. And to counteract that and to balance that out, we went deep into connection.
Deep.
So I have a big question for you.
Oh, God.
I kind of already have my formula, not my formulaic answer, but I kind of already have my answer to it because obviously I'm going to be answering the same question.
Right.
So I'll pose the question.
Definitely
and then
stacking the pot here. All right.
You can either respond or think about it.
Okay, let's see what happens.
So.
Yes.
Okay, we can move on. She's answered
Woo.
the question.
All right, what else you got?
So we continually evolve. We know that. We've talked about the evolution of people and all that jazz before on the podcast. How have you evolved from the beginning of this year until now?
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, think about it.
Oh, God, how have I evolved?
Another way to phrase it is not necessarily how have you evolved, but how are you different?
How am I different?
Episode 123.
I gained weight and cut my hair off. Let's just stick with that. Superficial. That's actually not superficial. That it really speaks to what was happening inside. How have I evolved? I think I don't hear when things touch the mic. I rub my face to the point of deafness, and my audio obsessive, loving, sexy man across from me is like, "Hey, yo, your mic." So that helps.
Think back to January.
Oh, I'm thinking.
To the very beginning of the year.
I don't need prompts.
Okay. And how are you different?
I'm more vocal. I'm very, very vocal. I'm angry, it comes out. I'm sad, it comes out. I'm happy, it comes out. I'm scared, it comes out. I'm aroused, it comes out. I am very much hello. Okay, so where was I?
I don't think I'm going to edit out the scream that you just had.
Oh, well, I said arousal and he came around the corner. I was like, I was close to getting into some sexual talk. So I get scared because they can't unhear that. There is no delete button.
Yeah. We just had to pause momentarily because a child entered into the sphere
A child
of the podcast. So anyways.
Okay.
Ways you've changed.
Yes. So all of that. So I'm basically, I speak out, but I'm at the end. I think I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum now. So instead of never speaking, I feel like I speak way too much now. Like I don't really you hear it. If you've stuck out the podcast the last year, you hear me all of a sudden, like my emotions come out because they are so, I don't have a lot of practice of speaking my emotions. So all the stuff like that normal people, I feel like would internalize and just have that little bit.
There is no normal person. Babe.
Well, I'm definitely not. It just comes out without practice. So that's what happens. So I'm very emotionally outspoken. I'm also getting more connected to myself, I'm allowing for connection with others. I still definitely have some struggle with that, but I'm like you. I feel like you know me. I feel like you know every nook and cranny.
I do. Of you.
Of me. And I'm also opening up to parts of me that I never have. And I'm not just like letting those be. I'm like fueling and feeding and accepting. And so are you. And it's wonderful. And so that's growing. So I feel like I have broken and not broken at the same time, and have finally, like, all my breaks just allowed me to really look and see all the pieces of me. So there's mine. Emotional outbursts will still remain. Keep going. What about you, baby? Now that you've got your answer already formulated.
Well, you answered way better than I was going to, so now I have to up my game. But
let's do it.
First off, I think I agree wholeheartedly with what you've said. I think that the fact is you are speaking out more and speaking up more and sharing what you're feeling and thinking and all that kind of stuff way more than you ever have before. And I love it. I just absolutely love it. I can eat it up with a spoon. It's just wonderful to see and feel and experience, even though at times it's challenging and it's hard. But I wouldn't have it any other way. And I don't think that you have reached like the opposite end of the spectrum. I think you have way more that you could be voicing.
I talk so much, though.
You really don't. It's still like
you remind me to shut up and listen all the time because I'm talking.
Well, that's probably me being a jerk.
No.
But I think you got more in there that needs to come out, and I'm excited to hear it and to see it and experience it. So yeah, kudos to you, Steph. And I think also, like, that's an aspect of you expressing yourself more this year. But I think one of the biggest differences that I see in you is the level of comfort that you have in your own skin.
Oh.
I feel like at the beginning of the year, you weren't as comfortable as you are today. I feel like you are, like, I'm thinking of some way to describe it, but it's just really simple. You are way more comfortable today in your skin than I think I've ever seen you.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
It is cool. It's a really, really neat thing. And I like it. It makes me very, very happy.
I love you.
I love you.
You turned that back around me, though.
Well,
We're trying to talk about how Craig.
So the way Craig is different from January until now, this year, I think one of the biggest changes that I underwent was I feel like I really let go to a new level that I never have before. And in doing so, I accepted weakness in a way that I never have before. And so the way that kind of played out in my life, it was like real vulnerability, real raw, open, exposed vulnerability, and acceptance of my weaknesses. And not even, I think of it as the sense of, like, I want to correct that real quick. I don't think I have weaknesses. I think all of us have moments of being weak. And I think having a weakness is some sort of like identifying characteristic of who you are, right? And it's not to say that maybe I'm wrong, maybe we do have weaknesses, but I think I have moments when I'm weak, or I have moments when I have weaknesses. And I didn't really used to acknowledge those, or I would only half-ass acknowledge those, and I sure shit wouldn't ever feel into those spaces. And this year I really had to feel into some of those spaces where I felt weak and allowed that to kind of overtake me. And I don't like it. It's uncomfortable, and it's really challenging, and it's really hard, and I really feel uncomfortable now talking about it because I can almost like feel what that feels like to let go into those spaces. But I think that's the biggest change, where maybe at the beginning of the year, because my journey has been so heavily involved into my emotions for the past several years, right? This isn't a new space. You know, I've been, what did you call us? Like love warriors or, yeah. I've been working a lot for the last several years in my head and in my body. And this year was the same, doing lots of work, lots of like mining and, you know, digging up stuff and finding new shafts to go down. That's hot. That's exactly what she said. But this year was like letting go so much to where I think oftentimes I would find myself in some of these spaces and then still avoid them, still disconnect from them, still kind of, oh yeah, that thing exists, but I'm not going to fully let go into it. And this year I feel like I let go into a lot of different spaces in a new way than I ever have before. So I think that's the thing that I think stands out in my mind of how different I am from the beginning of the year until now. Not just willing to accept my weaknesses, but to let go into them and to feel them and to like really let that feeling of weakness wash over me and to be vulnerable. I know that I've opened up new levels of connection in myself and you this year than I ever have before. That's a different thing. Like I feel more connected to you today than I did at the beginning of the year. And it is a deep level of connection that I never even knew existed. Like I think about like all the movies where they talk about the promised land and, you know, one day we'll get there, and like Land Before Time, where, what do they call it?
Green Valley.
Yeah. Like it's not even that. It's not even like one day I'd get there. It's like, holy shit.
Where the fuck this come from?
Well, everybody, we just entered
you
into
see
a new
this?
dimension that we didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
There's a level of connection now between you and I that's like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know this space existed inside of me or inside of you or inside of us. And that's a huge difference. And I think I think a big part of it for me is being able to let go and to feel into some of those weaknesses and feel into that raw vulnerability. And I still struggle, you know, I can feel the difference from the beginning of the year until now. But a little side note for those listening, this morning, Stephanie and I laid in bed before we recorded, and I did that exact thing. I really let go into some of the space, and it was hard. And it came from the conversation of you and I talking about how I don't do that, how that is something that I struggle with, how I will still internalize things and I won't express what I'm feeling and what I'm experiencing. So it's not like I'm some fucking guru master at this shit. I'm definitely practicing it on a regular basis. But I can feel the, I don't want to say weight because it's not heavy, but I can feel the depth of it, like the significance of what it has done in my life and for me and our life and our connection and all that jazz. So, yeah, that's what I think is different about me. What do you think, woman of mine?
A visual that I have of you is like diving headfirst into this murky, rocky, shallow water that you feel is weak, and just diving headfirst and then realizing it was like just a faux screen kind of thing. It's just a mirage, like you just jump right into your strength. Like you had to dive into your weakness to find your strength because it's not weak at all. And it's beautiful.
Dive into your weakness to find your strength.
Yeah, that's what you do.
That would be a snippet that I would snag for audio and put at the end of the episode.
Awesome.
That's really good, baby.
That's
you.
something
that I need to actually write down. So, dive into your weakness to find strength. To find your strength. That's really good. What do you see coming up for the next year? Specifically, I mean, yeah, or lie for the podcast or whatever, but just real quick.
What do I see? Honestly, I see more work, babe. But I see so many
Can we
things
get a
are coming
break?
up. I know.
Can we
I
get
know.
a motherfucking break up in here?
I see there's something scary. I can feel it. But
Do you
hold
think
on.
like, okay? Like in the
It's like dark. Like it just it's gonna, like there's more growth happening. But I feel very ready and prepared. And I know that on the other side is joy and love. Like I feel like so many wonderful things are going to happen next year, but I also can feel there's going to be some I can feel it. But maybe I'm not afraid. We learned how to breathe. I think more growth. And I do think it's going to be less. I think that there's going to be some pretty impactful things, but I feel like there's going to be a large amount of joy. Just like the full on joy. Just joy. There's going to be, and it's not joy as in just like, haha, happy, everything's going right. Just like the personal, I'm not the freaking mellifluous. I almost called you Maleficent. I am not the wordsmith. I could I can't put my hands on people and explain what I'm feeling, but like what I'm feeling inside is triumphant. That's what it feels like. That's what's coming.
That's a good feeling for 2020.
That is a good feeling. But you can't feel that unless you have to, unless there's
Overcome
something to overcome. So I feel the overcoming obstacles, and I feel I'm going to start crying. Okay.
Well, should we commit to another year of every week?
Every week?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course I do.
Should I start editing?
No. You're good there, babe. I got that covered.
I kind of hope that we keep this going, Craig.
Yeah, I do too, Steph.
This is fun. This is like our thing. I like it. Thanks for deciding to let me take part in this and joining with me and loving me and welcoming me and letting this become grow into our thing, because this was your thing and it was beautiful and I did not want to infringe on your thing. And thank you. I love it. This is quite the gift you've given me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for showing up. And thank you, you listener of the podcast, whoever you are. For some reason, my mind just went blank.
You can't remember Barb?
Barb. Fuck Barb. I'm so sorry.
Not fuck Barb. I mean,
I don't know. It depends.
What's up, Barb?
Thank you so much, Barb, for tuning in and listening week after week and continuing to be our number one fan of the podcast. And all the rest of you out there, you need to up your game if you want to compete with Barb in 2020. But no, thank you so much, everybody who has supported the podcast over the years. Thank you to the many sponsors that we've had. Thank you to all the listeners, all the people that reach out and give us some feedback time to time. That's always fun and exciting. We have just had, all the guests that have been on the podcast this year, all of our future guests who we haven't met yet. Thank you.
We may have met.
We may have met you already, and you're going to be on the podcast soon. Wink, wink. And I love you, Steph. We're going to continue on.
I love you, Craig.
And every week, a brand new episode of the Energy is Love podcast coming at you from everywhere. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm wearing my masturbation pants.
That's what she puts on when it's go time. Hold on. I got to go get my pants on. Like, what? Tell me more of this game.
I did not play this game.
I've got your button.
I just need a fucking minute.
Should we push pause?
No, don't push pause. Just shut up for a minute.
Done. Yeah.
Okay. See, It was just hell.
Yeah. Let's just say a few more times about.
Yeah.